Okay, so here we go. Newton's first law of motion. It's called the law of inertia. An object in motion stays in motion, and an object at rest stays at rest unless acted upon by a force. Write that down. Now, I yellowed this part out. I probably shouldn't have. I just try to save a little effort so you don't have to write so much. But the corollary between, if it's moving, it'll just keep moving unless something pushes it to move it, is if it's not moving, it's not going to move unless something pushes it. Okay, so let's suppose you have an object is just sitting there. I had to get this little platform so I could video it. Now let's say this calf is just sitting there. And this yellow part here, an object at rest stays at rest unless acted upon by a force. Let's find out if that's true. So an object at rest stays at rest unless acted upon by a force. Let me see. It's at rest. It means it's not moving, right? Now, let's watch and see if it moves without another force acting on it. Okay, how long do you think we'd have to watch before we decide, you know what? It's not going to move. Now, if something comes along and moves it, yeah, well, then it'll move. But unless a force acts on it, it's just going to sit there. When, an object at rest remains at rest unless acted upon by a force, right? And by the same token, an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by a force. The force changes its motion. That's what a force does. By the way, when we get to the other one, the second law of motion is force equals mass times acceleration. It tells what force is, that force makes mass accelerate, like that, just made mass accelerate. So, an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by a force. That is the secret to why we don't feel when the Earth is spinning around on its axis, right? Again, people were sort of thinking, well, wait a second. If I was on the Earth and it was moving 600 miles an hour, I'd jump up, the Earth would spin out from under me. But it doesn't. And the reason is, the Earth is moving at 600 miles an hour, but so are we. We're standing there on the Earth moving at 600 miles an hour. And just because we jump up in the air doesn't mean we stop moving 600 miles an hour, because an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by a force. We keep on moving, right? And so think about this for a second. Suppose you're, I don't know how many of you guys have ever ridden in an airliner, like on an airplane, and you're sitting in your seat, and you got people walking up and down. The plane is flying along at about 300 miles an hour or something. And so it's cruising along, and this flight attendant comes down with a cart and is asking people, okay, would you like a soda? Okay, I'll get a soda. And then they get, I don't have a Pepsi can, but okay, say a glass and a cup. Oh, would you like something? Oh, you'd like a orange juice? All right, here, I'll pour you an orange juice. Okay, now you're moving 300 miles an hour, or however fast jets fly, and the airplane's moving at 300 miles an hour. So when you pour the soda, does the soda then get moved out from under, and so the soda goes flying to the back of the plane and 300 miles an hour? Is that what happens? No, that's not what happens, right? Because the cup is moving at 300 miles an hour, you're moving 300 miles an hour, the flight attendant is, the soda is, everything is, the air in the compartment is, everything's moving at 300 miles an hour. So it continues moving all together. So you don't feel it. You don't feel the motion because you're already moving, right? You're not accelerating. Accelerating means speeding up or slowing down, right?